Hello again, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of candidates for elective office. My guest today is Bill Robinson, who is running for mayor of Flower Mound. Thank you for being here, Bill.
Thanks, Bob.
Please begin by telling our viewers something about your background.
Sure. I grew up in Omaha, or was born in Omaha, Nebraska. Grew up in Loveland, Colorado. Went to Colorado State University. Got a degree in finance. Worked for a few years in Denver, and then moved to Texas in 2001. Spent a little over a decade at a company called Gein Homes, where I ran the finance group. In the past 3 or 4 years, then managed and operated my home building company that runs out of northern Colorado called Bridgewater Homes. We have a small remote office over in Parker Square, where myself and 2 other gentlemen work remotely out of. But all of our operations and our main office is up in Colorado. And then for my family, I live with my wife, who's awesome, and then our 3 kids, who are even more awesome, and then 2 little beagles, which keep it interesting. So it's very blessed life. So.
Right. Well, let me get right into something that people have heard about your candidacy. You said you received some threats because you're running for mayor. Please explain.
Just specifically, it was my family and I went. It was on spring break. We went out of town for a few days. We came back. We took my wife's car. I keep my truck in the driveway. There was a note on the windshield, and it basically said it'd be in your best interest if for you and your family if you discontinue to race for mayor, something like that. And it kind of caught us off guard. We knew it. We knew there was no real intent with that, but in our best interest, or my wife was kind of pulling for that. It was like, hey, we need to contact the police. We talked. They came over, they took the note, and they asked if.
So they're investigating it now?
Well, they took it. They asked if we felt there was any real threat. We said no. It's just someone probably trying to scare us or something. But they said that they would add some patrols for the next couple of weeks around our house. But we're fine. I just the biggest thing is that I didn't realize that there's a history of it in Flower Mound. It kind of caught me off guard. But the biggest thing is that I've had an overwhelming amount of support. People emailing me.
Right. Yeah, you say there's a history of it, and you're right, but most of us believed it was in the rearview mirror by now.
Well, I heard that too. Yeah, so
but, I guess some of it is still back. I don't know why. I know something's wrong with people. But anyway, I'm glad you're still running. You can't be scared off by things like that.
We took a pause, but we're full steam for the next 42 days.
All right, let me get into some of the issues. In recent articles, you've expressed concern about the town's financial status vis-a-vis debt, pensions, bond ratings, etc. Would you elaborate on that?
Well, the main issue, and to kind of summarize all that stuff, is the biggest problem is the town doesn't have a clear strategic plan of where it's going. And let me explain, because when I've written about that before, I've talked about it before. But when I say that to people, you have people say, no, we have the master plan, this is what we know what we're going to do, and that's not what I'm talking about. And you have others saying, hey, we have the PIP, and we know which projects are coming up over the next year or two, and that's not what I'm talking about either. We just need to time out. What I'm trying to say is that, and you've been here extremely long time. You probably know more than 99% of the people in town, but do you really know what the town is trying to achieve? Basically in terms of how fast it's going to grow or what we're trying to get to. So for example, in 2025, how many people are going to be in the town of Flower Mound? Is it 90,000? Is it 190,000? And so what I found in this short period of time is that there's 2 divisive groups. You got one side where it's slow growth, non-growth, whatever the category is, and the other side which is more of a, let's keep growing. But what's happened is, if there's no plan for the town of what we're trying to get to, it causes you to become extremely less efficient. Because if you don't know how fast you're going to grow, you really can't answer any of the questions. If the town's only going to grow to 90,000, it changes the dynamics of everything compared to 190,000 or 150,000. Infrastructure changes, the amount of people you have working here, everything across the board. So when you look at just the financials, I've talked about debt, I've talked about bond ratings, but all of that gets encompassed into what are we trying to get to? Because if you don't know where you're going, if we continue to take on debt, can we pay all that back? Debt is fine, debt is worth, you need debt to grow,
Well, yeah, every municipality has debt, and it's just determined on how much debt you have and how much revenue you have that can cover the debt. But let me get into, in as much as the fact that a mayor doesn't get to vote, except in a tie, how much influence does the mayor have in this?
In brief, it's, yes, the town council members vote, the mayor doesn't, but to have another voice there to basically look at the financial statements, to clearly express any concerns that would come up. And it seems that, you know, a lot of the financial aspects, the things that get approved, it's more of let's approve the project and figure out how we're going to pay for it later. If we stay within certain parameters, we can go ahead and approve it. But to add another voice that can clearly define what's going on and cause, or, you know, raise a red flag if something's happening, I think that's very important. And then, you know, the votes are going to lay out however they're going to lay out. But as long as everybody, you know, or the mayor can clearly state their concerns if something's getting approved that shouldn't, or vice versa, I think that's very important for the citizens of Flower Mound to hear.
Well, in your opinion, what are the major issues facing the town going forward?
It's basically that. I sort of rambled a little bit before, but we need to know where we're going. We need to know how many people are going to go here, because I get asked all the time, like, what do you think of the traffic? What are we going to do with the roads going forward? Well, I don't know how many people are going to be here in 5 years.
Well, who will know? Who could know?
Well, what you do is a town, if we make a strategic plan of let's grow the town by a maximum of, let's say, 2,000 people a year, you can curtail the amount of permits that you're going to issue for residential growth. You can control the growth of your town. So if you can control the growth of your town year after year, the people on, let's say, the slow growth side are going to know the maximum amount of people that you're going to add per year to the town. They may not be happy with it, but at least the stress level that they have, that they understand what the town is going for, what they're going to try to achieve going forward, is clear.
Well, let me ask you about it. Do you think the town is growing too fast, too slow, or just about right?
Right now, I think it's there's been a lot of projects added. You know, the Riverwalk's growing a little bit slower than I think most people like. Lakeside, I think, is great. I know there's been some pushback with apartments. For me personally, I think the town at this point is growing at a decent pace, but with the caveat is that we need to slow it down and really focus on how many people we're going to add over the next 5, 10, 15 years. We need a clear plan of exactly how many people are going to go here or come here, so everybody can be on the same page. So when new projects get brought into the council, we know if they should approve it or shouldn't approve it, because it affects everything. I mean, it's like a business plan for a business. You need to know what your end goal is before you can do anything else. And we need to know how many people we're going to hire, again, with the roads. Anything involved with the city, we need to know how big the city's going to get before we can decide on those things.
All right, so you answered the question about the Riverwalk. It's not going as quickly as we'd like it to go. Lakeside is a beautiful addition to it, and we're going to have Lakeside Village come. The ratio between business and residents in the town right now is, I think, 70-30. What do you think is possible in the future? Should it be 50-50? Could we get to that?
I think you definitely could. You know, if you can control the population growth, and then this is another piece where you can, when you're negotiating with businesses, you can tell them exactly how many people that you plan to attract to the town over the next period of time, and then you just focus on those businesses that fits their business plan. You know, if their business thrives on a town that has 100,000 people, this is a place for them to be. So I think we just go out and try to focus on more businesses coming here. So.
Well, we're being grabbed by the clock already,
okay.
Bill. These things go very quickly. I want to thank you for being here, and good luck in the election.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.